Thank you for checking out crypto.chartguys.com, the source for technical analysis in the cryptocurrency world. We are proud to announce our own crypto alert system designed to give you the most critical technical trading information possible no matter where you are. Keep your eyes on the market with mobile or email alerts for MACD crosses, RSI levels, and even inside bar alerts for dozens of coins across multiple exchanges. New features and proprietary ChartGuys indicators are already in development. Our alert system is very easy to customize and utilize, so don't hesitate to sign up for the most effective crypto trading tool on the market at crypto.chartguys.com. Hello friends, on today's episode of Drawing with Dan, we'll be working with a black background with some geometric shapes accented by white lines to bring out the essence of the piece. And we'll be looking at some technical analysis as well on the daily time frame. To start it off with Bitcoin, we're looking like we're getting our equilibrium. So we had our high, we had our low, we had our lower high. As soon as we started to top out, gotta get my magnet on, but as soon as we started to top out a couple days ago, we could see the scenario, okay, if we cannot break to a higher high and we do begin to consolidate and we do lose the hourly higher low pattern, the odds that we're gonna form an equilibrium are more likely. So as we were pulling back today, that can shift our perspective a little bit, and we can say, okay, now we are anticipating a higher low to form, so I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive if I'm playing an oversold bounce in this scenario because I have this support backing me up. I have the likelihood of the longer term pattern set to play out, so I can be a little bit more confident and look for some signs that the bulls are showing up rather than trying to remain as unbiased as possible. I can slip that bias just a little bit because I am looking for that higher low. So we have a nice long lower wick here forming. We have the 4-hour time frame breaking the lower high. That was the last bounce attempt that we have now broken. So this is not bulls out of the woods yet. And a member just posted a chart that we will look at in just a moment, which is the potential, again, of another bearish reversal head and shoulders pattern that could play out. So if we have our left shoulder and our head and then our right shoulder and this neckline pretty close to each other, if we were to come back down and break this level, that would be the scenario where we bear break out of this daily equilibrium pattern. So that's a little bit complex, but we have a 4-hour bounce going out. The middle of this range of this last equilibrium level, let's see, 88.31, and we're looking up to 95.12. So that's about a $700 range, so $350 off the bottom. And these are just things that I do in my head to stay sharp rather than using the tools that they provide us. So we're looking at 9,180 would put us right in the middle. So if we get up another $100, then that puts us right in the middle of this equilibrium, and it'll be anybody's guess as to the direction that we do break. If we do break bearish on this daily equilibrium, which again, I'm looking forward to take 2 days maybe to break. That could change very quickly, but we could easily stay within this pattern for 2 days if things stay slow. And the weekly time frame would give us our lower high. Not going to delete those lines, but it would give us our lower high if we pull back and break this daily equilibrium bearish, because then we would then start to pull back on the weekly to establish our weekly higher low and to stay in this tightening equilibrium pattern. So that's the most likely scenario. I just talked about most likely scenarios. That is the most likely scenario that I anticipate to happen on the weekly chart. So I am slightly favoring a bear break on the daily time frame of this equilibrium. I'm not going to make any trades based off of that, but I am going to keep it in the back of my mind. And if I am looking to play anything bullish, that's going to trigger, and I'm going to say, okay, need to be a little bit more cautious because the longer term pattern is looking like we need to consolidate and form that higher low. So the hourly time frame gave a little bearish or a bullish reversal inverse head and shoulders pattern. Let's look at that one. And I was live and this afternoon and drew this one with our left shoulder and the head, and then I drew the right shoulder, and I definitely gave a lot more space down here, and it ended up being a bull flag. So a nice bull move, very healthy consolidation, actually an inside bar. Actually, it didn't break inside bar bullish, but nice continuation after a brief consolidation. And it's the same psychology. Again, because we didn't form a nice rounded shoulder doesn't mean this is not an inverse head and shoulders pattern. It's just going from lower highs and lower lows to a higher low and then breaking the lower highs, breaking the neckline. So we're now looking up at the next major resistance of 9,244, and another $100 will put us right in the middle of that equilibrium. So bulls want to see increasing bull volume and make their way right into the middle of that range. And then from there, we'll see how long can the bulls hold an hourly higher low pattern. The longer they hold it, the better their odds of breaking the daily equilibrium bullish. Ethereum had a nice oversold bounce, and I actually played an oversold bounce yesterday. Let's go over that real quick. And I played it on Bitcoin, and this was almost by default, where I had to literally, I just looked at my phone, saw that it was time for this bounce to begin playing out, and I ran to the computer and instantly started placing orders. That's how close that I cut it. So ended up getting in. Let's look at I was looking at the 15-minute time frame the most, but ended up getting in on the initial dump here and got some good fills. I got probably 2/3 of my position on limits on the way down in the low 8,900s, even got some under 8,900. And then I market ordered a third of my position. And that was, again, I was confident market ordering, not normally, but because the 15-minute RSI was down at 20, the hourly RSI was just getting oversold, and I'm anticipating a daily higher low to form. That makes me more confident to use that market order. And it wasn't a huge trade. It was nice profit, but I scaled out on the way up, kept about half of my position after the initial bounce, held on here because, again, the 15-minute and hourly RSI were about to get right oversold again. We held that support, so I held my half position and then scaled out when we started seeing this weakness this morning. And actually, I got stopped out with the last portion. So that's how the last couple of my trades have gone, just breaking it up into positions where I exit the first half on profit, where, you know, it's a day maker of a trade, and then I let the other half potentially go for further distance and bigger gains. But I definitely keep protecting it and ensure that I get some profit on that second half as well. And usually the last bit of an order that I'll exit will be due to a stop loss. I don't want to put my whole position with the slippage at a market order for the stop loss, but I'll do the last portion that I exit. And we ended up dropping down to a lower low. And that's always the risk that you take. So although I'm looking for the daily higher low on the equilibrium, I know that there's nothing saying that it has to be at this low. We could absolutely see a weak bounce and then continuation. All we know is that it's going to be higher compared to 8,600. So there was a lot of space to work with in that range. But all in all, the bulls are making their recovery here. I'm back to all cash, and I'm just going to wait at this point because at this point, the range in between the tightening equilibrium that we're watching is shrinking. So the opportunity is shrinking, and I don't want to be over trading in this environment. Might as well just wait for a break at this point. So Ethereum had a stronger bounce. Daily time frame, look at that lower wick. So real nice lower wick, much closer to a bull break on this daily chart, with our lower high at 696.71, and now our higher low is 627.20. And looking at it on the 4-hour time frame, solid move by the bulls, higher low. Need to see a bull break here of 673 to have the bulls in full control to give that higher low and then break of the top at the last bounce attempt. The bull MACD cross is ready to go. If we break bullish, I'm going to be playing Ethereum. The bounce, I regretted being rushed and going by Bitcoin by default just because Ethereum had such a stronger bounce, and that would have been, you know, a week maker of a trade rather than a solid day trade for what I got out of Bitcoin. So really nice recovery here. Again, holding on much stronger. The hourly bounce, very significant, and it's still an hourly equilibrium if we cannot break this level. You can see we have our higher low clearly established, but we have to break to that higher high, and watching very close as we're approaching that resistance. But either way, this equilibrium is looking certainly favorable toward the bulls on Ethereum. But if Bitcoin breaks its pattern bearish, then that means that Ethereum is going to be heading back down towards its low as well, just not as quickly. It is holding up better. Litecoin, daily time frame, so same kind of deal. We have our high, low, lower high, higher low now forming. Tightening range, we've been within this range for the last 6 days. In the 4-hour time frame, we have a higher low, and we haven't broken as well. Same as Ethereum, we're right there. So there's our resistance, testing it now. We have our higher low, trying to see the follow through and get right back to the middle of this range on the daily time frame. So same thing, the low is 142.73, the high is 156. So that's roughly a $14 range. $7 off the bottom is about 150, puts us right in the middle. So we do need another few dollars to the upside to be right in the middle. And Ethereum, to be in its middle, it's already above it. So that's another example of how it's stronger. So that's it for the big three. Pretty clear in terms of what we're looking for. And this is, you know, obviously I enjoy doing this every day with these videos, but it keeps me so in the zone to just have this regimented routine where before I even pull up the charts, I know what I'm looking for. And it's a continuous story. Whereas people that are not as dedicated to it, or, you know, have things come up, if you're checking in once every few days, you feel a little bit lost. It takes you a while to collect your bearings rather than it being a continuous story. You're bouncing all over the place. And so, I mean, obviously there's life and things come into play, but if you are trying to do your best, watching more is always something that you can do to help improve yourself, because all it does is get you more experience. And it's definitely a constant battle for me, myself, knowing that I want to get off the screen and I want to go enjoy things. But that's also, I'm the kind of person that, you know, strives to do my best in everything. So that I'm not doing my best if I'm taking days off away from the screen. So it's definitely a constant balance, as we all know. That's definitely something we have to work with. Let's look at EOS. This is a good example on EOS of a really strong looking candlestick. Like we pulled back, bullish candlestick, nice lower wick closing up near the high, but it doesn't give you the complete story. If you look at the 4-hour time frame for more details, it's just an all right bounce at this point. So not a very significant bounce. Definitely, I wouldn't look at this 4-hour chart and say, oh, that's a big solid bullish candlestick on the daily time frame. That's just the way it works out by the timing and the fact that it's going to close soon. So the key support is the low down here that we must hold. And EOS, I'm doing it again because it has had great volatility. And while I'm not on an exchange that can trade it right now, if I were, I would be trading a lot of EOS. This is the volatility you live for, where you go 1591 and a couple of 4-hour candlesticks later, you're up over 18. And that's a significant 12% plus opportunity. And that's great. So we have our inside bars breaking bullish. The top of this move is the next resistance to be watching of 1814. If the bulls can break that level, it will be a more significant recovery. And then that daily candlestick will be warranted. And we'll say, okay, that is a strong bounce. But if we can't break that level, same as Ethereum and Litecoin, a little bit of a different shape, but low, high of the bounce to this point, higher, low, and then testing that resistance soon. So that's what we're watching on EOS, but it's still extremely strong on the daily. I would expect a daily equilibrium here as well. If we break bullish, we'll look for a lower high compared to 2303. And again, that's just the most common pattern after you have a clear bull break or a clear bear break and you're entering new territory and there's a lot of volatility when new prices are being found and you're establishing a new range. That's when we see equilibriums. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. So that's all for that. I appreciate you watching. Had a reflection today. Let's see, what are we going to do? Good things. Going for a walk. Oh, it was, 1 second. So I was remembering a memory from last year. That's the time of year for planting and gardening and things like that. And I was working on a bed and digging up a whole bed, a whole bunch of weeds, clearing everything out to be able to plant tomatoes, 6-8 tomato plants in a spread there. And worked all day and was dripping sweat and felt really accomplished. And then I started reflecting on things and thinking, I just killed thousands and thousands of plants to make space for 6 plants because I want to put them there and they're going to give me fruit. And then I was reflecting on how humans so often consider ourselves the center of the universe where everything is revolving around us. And everybody would think that would be normal. Yeah, kill all the weeds, kill all those plants. But in reality, it's why am I, making space for a few and killing all of those because I came here and said, I'm going to do this because I'm the smartest species on Earth. I don't really believe that. I don't believe that we're the center of the universe, just like the Earth was the center of the universe so long ago. I don't buy it. So I don't really like to live my life that way. That's just a minor example where zooming out and looking at all perspectives and all sides of things. And that's what I like to do as a trader. So I don't have a bias when I'm looking at the charts. If I'm, it's fine to have a lean sometimes and have a game plan of what you're anticipating, but I don't want to go into something and if I'm all in on my account on Bitcoin and I'm holding and I'm not selling no matter what, I'm always going to be looking for bullish scenarios. And that's not zooming out and getting all perspectives of things before coming to a conclusion. And that's a way that I control emotions as well out in the real world. I can't react to a situation emotionally instantly if I haven't zoomed out and taken in what it's like, what everybody's different perceptions are like from the scenario or the situation. So just a reflection on we're not the center of the universe, so get over yourself. I hope you have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.